All right, welcome to Smokey Approved Korea. I'm your boy Jurnalist, and on this one, we are here to check out one more video. Because if you're watching this today, it's a pre-record. I'm shooting a music video. Well, I'm an extra in a music video for my boy, so I won't have time to film all day because it's from 9 to like 5, and then I think I've got. Oh Lord Jesus, did I mess up? Okay, no, I have a studio session on Monday. I thought it was a different day. Okay, so yeah, I'm okay. But yeah, that's what we're doing this for. But I seen this now. It's like I'm not deep enough into K-pop to be like it sucks now because I keep finding new artists in K-pop that I wouldn't say that. I want to see if this video confirms my belief of any genre of music. When people say that a genre of music sucks, it's because they're lazy. What I mean by they're lazy, the ease at which it is able to the ease at which you are able to find music from an artist that you really like or you really enjoy, it comes a lot easier either when you're younger or that particular genre is quality controlled within itself enough that the best stuff gets pushed to the top. However, because there's the commercial music industry, a lot of the stuff that filters to the top of genres is not always the best or the most innovative. So this is why genres, like people be like, oh, hip hop's dead. And I'll be like, you're lazy because there's so much beautiful and amazing hip hop coming out, but you have to do the work to go find it. So now when I seen this title that why K-pop sucks now, I'm just like, are you doing the work and saying K-pop sucks now, or are you just not able to find K-pop that hit how it used to hit at the ease it used to come to find you back in the day? Because I think that's probably where we're gonna land at the end of this video, but I don't know. So that's what we're here to do today. Thank you guys for joining me. If you could please hit that like, subscribe, Patreon, PayPal in the description, and let's get into this one and see what we got.
People couldn't get enough of. There was a time when people couldn't get enough of K-pop. It felt like the genre was on track to
Still now, mate. Still now. However, the numbers have taken a slight dip, but that's because the Mandem's in jail. They're in jail.
become the biggest global phenomenon, breaking records left and right. But today, fans are starting to agree that K-pop is in shambles. The talent is still there, but something feels off. It doesn't feel authentic anymore. And no, I'm not talking about the usual fan wars or another.
We're talking K-pop now, mate. Outside my gang, who really making an authenticity, mate? Who's really making a push for authenticity? Like, authentic. So much pageantry to K-pop. What are you talking about authentic? Shut up, blood.
Other idol getting cancelled for breathing wrong. I'm talking about actual chaos, scandals upon scandals, music quality hitting rock bottom, fan culture becoming more toxic than ever, and an industry so focused on profit that it completely lost sight of what made K-pop special in the first place. Remember when K-pop felt fresh? When groups had their own sound? When you could actually tell which song belonged to which group? Yeah, those days are gone. Because now, every group sounds the same, scandals happen every other week, and the industry is squeezing fans dry. So, what went wrong? K-pop used to be experimental. It had variety. You could hear the difference between a Big Bang song and a Shiny song in 2 seconds. You could hear the difference between a BTS song and EXO song. Now, if I played you 5 random K-pop songs from different groups, you wouldn't even know who sang what. The industry has fallen into a cycle of playing it safe, prioritizing catchy, formulaic beats over true artistic innovation. Labels care more about following trends than setting them, leading to a wave of generic songs that blend into each other. What used to be a diverse genre full of surprises has now been reduced to predictable beats, copy-paste melodies, and a desperate attempt to go viral on TikTok.
This is such a contrived argument that happens and has been happening in every genre of music since music was music. Like, it always happens. When we was just making blues, everybody that made blues sounded like they was making blues. There's those star standouts that turn the genre into what it's going to turn into. But this is always a thing that happens. Like when people are like, oh, in the 90s, people just like, we all sounded different like when we was rapping. You did until you went outside your area and you find somebody else that sounds like Busta Rhymes. You'd find some kid in Topeka, Kansas that sounds like Busta Rhymes. You find some kid somewhere else that sounds like another person. Like, it's just what happens. It's the adherence to spending money on the copying is the issue. But that's also an issue that's been happening for a long time. This just feels like a very lazy point to make.
Blame it on the industry's obsession with TikTok trends. Companies don't make songs anymore, they make sounds designed to go viral for 15 seconds. Songs are literally being crafted with dance challenges in mind, rather than musical quality. The result? Music that feels disposable. Something to stream for a week before moving on to the next trend.
I'm sorry. It feels like he's saying K-pop has turned into SoundCloud rap. Like, that's what's happening. Like, first time, is it? First time you felt something that you care about to your soul has been turned into a profit machine that doesn't have any of the luster it used to.
And remember when K-pop had bridge sections? When the production was insane? When choruses were built up to feel like an actual climax? Now it's just verse, pre-chorus, drop. No storytelling. No emotional payoff. Just the same recycled formula over and over again. And the auto-tune? Oh buddy. Some idols sound like Siri with a voice filter. The days of raw live vocals are fading, replaced by over-processed, pitch-corrected performances that make every song feel robotic. The industry no longer focuses on vocal excellence, just what sounds good enough to be consumed quickly. Let's be real, if you blurred out the members of half these fourth-gen groups, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart. The same AI-generated visuals, the same perfect styling, and the same vocal tone. Everything feels like it came out of the same factory, with no room for individuality. Groups used to have distinct concepts and unique sounds, but now? It's all just the same recycled formula with different faces. Gone are the days when a group could have a signature sound. Recycled formula.
Is this a co-ed group? Like a bunch of boys and one girl? Am I tripping?
With different faces. Gone are the days when a group could have a signature sound. Instead, labels are too afraid to experiment, forcing idols into a mold that prioritizes marketability over authenticity. The industry is terrified of taking risks. Labels don't want an idol to stand out too much, because that might disrupt the group's perfect balance or make them harder to market. Instead of nurturing individuality, they create manufactured clones. Idols who fit a strict mold, designed not to push creative boundaries, but to maximize profit. This results in groups that feel more like commercial brands than actual artists. Every concept, every outfit, and every song is meticulously crafted to be safe and digestible, ensuring no one deviates too much from the formula. And what's the result? A K-pop landscape that feels increasingly stale and uninspired. Fans aren't blind to this, they crave uniqueness, but companies keep serving the same aesthetic, the same choreography, and the same generic sound. The lack of risk-taking is making K-pop boring, and if the industry doesn't start embracing individuality again, fans might start looking elsewhere for excitement. Groups aren't encouraged to explore their unique musical identities because the industry prioritizes what sells over what's artistically fulfilling, and in doing so, they're slowly killing the magic that made K-pop so exciting in the first place. K-pop always had a weird obsession with controlling idols' personal lives, but it's worse than ever. Companies force idols to act like they're single forever because apparently their fans will have an emotional breakdown if they find out they're...
They will, man. Parasocial relationships be weird like that. Like you on Monday, find out you got a boyfriend on Tuesday. Like, follow. That's how people do. It's how people act. Is it correct? No, and I don't think it should happen. But you should be building an artist that can survive the having the baby, having a family, having a partner, being like a human. But like, when you sign up to McDonald's and you want to start telling us you want to make Whoppers, I find it hard to hear your cries when you're making that Big Mac that they told you had to make when you went to decide to work at McDonald's, mate. Like, you knew what it was when you signed up. Like, it's just hard to like hear this stuff when people are actively signing up for a shit system, while also people that have decided to work outside that system are doing everything that we're hearing the complaints in this video doing. They're making original music, they're exploring their artistry, but at the higher levels of what gets marketed with the biggest dollars, there, the hell? It's the music business. It is a business. It's not about art. It is about business. Like, people forget that shit. And do I want that to be the thing? No. That's why I've left what I've done. This is why I try and make music in the way I'm trying to make it now. Like, it's a fucking business. Did you forget that? And if you did, you're gonna be at McDonald's talking about you want to make Whoppers when we make Big Macs over here.
Oppa, or Ani, is dating. And let's talk about fan culture. K-pop fans are spending thousands of dollars just to collect photo cards. Literal pieces of cardboard. Streaming is no longer about enjoying music.
Literal pieces of cardboard. Like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh don't exist. Like certain points that this motherfucker's making are quite trite. Like, they're quite trite.
It's a full-time job. Fans set alarms, organise streaming parties, and dedicate hours just to ensure their favourite group tops the charts. If you don't stream 24/7, you're not a real fan. And when idols do date, the internet implodes. Death threats, boycotts. I can't believe they betrayed us. What betrayal? You don't know them. Some fans even go as far as demanding public apologies, forcing idols to write handwritten letters as if they've committed a crime. This level of obsession has turned fandom culture into something toxic, basically, like a cult. Idols are treated like characters in a fantasy world, expected to be flawless and forever available to their fans. But let's be honest, it's getting out of control. The industry feeds into this parasocial relationship because it profits from fan loyalty. But at what cost? Idols live in fear of normal human experiences, and fans lose touch with reality. At some point, K-pop fans need to ask themselves, are we supposed to touch with reality? At some point, K-pop fans need to ask themselves, are we supporting idols or are we suffocating them? How many apology letters have you seen in the past year? How many idols have been cancelled over something ridiculous? At this point, there's a scandal every other week, and it's exhausting to keep up with. Some scandals are serious. Issues like bullying allegations, company mistreatment, and idol exploitation deserve attention. But others? Completely blown out of proportion. An idol says one slightly wrong word in an interview and suddenly their entire career is at risk. They're forced to issue a public apology, bow in front of cameras.
What did he say though? What did he say? I respect that he's doing the refusal of apology, but what did he say?
And sometimes even take
a shiny ass knee, boy. Pharrell had that oil on that day. He shining harder than this leather.
an indefinite hiatus over minor misunderstandings. And let's talk about how companies handle these situations. One day, they completely ignore a controversy, hoping it will fade away. The next day, they're making idols write handwritten apology letters in 5 different languages, trying to please every single audience. It's inconsistent, performative, and honestly, tiring. Social media plays a huge role in this mess. A rumor starts, it spreads like wildfire, and before you know it, thousands of people are demanding an idol's removal from their group. Even when claims turn out to be false, the damage is already done. K-pop scandal culture thrives on overreaction, and companies fuel it by constantly playing defense instead of standing by their artists. At this point, it feels like being a K-pop idol is walking on eggshells. They can't express personal opinions, joke freely, or even make simple mistakes without triggering a massive backlash. And with scandals happening so frequently, it's hard to tell what's actually serious and what's just another case of overblown internet outrage. Let's be real, the industry...
Mate, when you're making a video and you want to say overblown internet outrage while putting this title of what this person was caught up in as like the image that is behind that statement, you visually conflate 2 things that shouldn't be happening. And I would hope in editing you would be far more aware while trying to admonish an industry for this type of shit, because this is what makes things get blown out of proportion. And people are like, oh, it's not even that deep. It's not even that deep. Like, what? Nah. What? Nah, that's crazy.
And what's just another case of overblown internet outrage? Let's be real, the industry sees fans as walking ATMs. You're not a supporter, you're a customer. Every move the companies make is designed to extract as much money from fans as possible.
It's a fucking business, mate. There's not a record label on this fucking planet that doesn't see a person pressing play on Spotify, some streaming platform, or buying something from one of their artists as anything besides a marketable number that they can fucking recoup some money out of. Why are you talking like they care about you like on a humanistic level? That is crazy work.
Whether through constant comebacks, overpriced merchandise, or endless album versions with random photo albums, overpriced. Not just a little, but ridiculously expensive. Sometimes with multiple versions, forcing fans to buy several copies just to collect all the photo cards. Comebacks? rushed. Instead of focusing on quality music, labels push groups into back-to-back releases just to keep the hype cycle going. Concert tickets? Insanely expensive. Price
100 quid is insanely expensive? Buddy, the fuck? I just seen a seated ticket in a 3,000 seat venue for 5K. For 5K. For a nigga that sing and wears the belly. Like, 100 quid? I would happily pay 100. I'd happily pay 100. Kendrick right now coming to Glasgow, I think his tickets are going anywhere between 180 to 250. When we went to see him 2 years ago, it was 150 for 3 tickets, but man just won a Grammy and then 5 other ones. And then just also did the Super Bowl. The ticket price is going to go up. Plus inflation. What are you talking about? Now dynamic pricing at Ticketmaster though, that's another story. That's another story. I'm just talking about base rates, just base rates.
Prices keep going up, and VIP sections are basically reserved for those who can drop thousands of dollars. Groups don't
That's VIP's what it is, mate. It's VIP. Like, who the fuck got the money is what that is. The fuck?
don't even get time to rest because companies milk them dry before moving on to the next big thing. The moment a group loses momentum, they are discarded, and a fresh batch of trainees is rolled out.
In this moment, I just also, if anybody watches my videos and wants more understanding on just the business of music, then understand this term. It's called full exploitation. At full exploitation, that's why we have 17 different versions of an album. That's why we have fucking photo cards in every goddamn color possible. Because we are trying to fully exploit this asset to recoup all the fucking financial gains we can back from it, while paying the least amount of money to the artists and the people that create these things, because that's the most predatory form of capitalism and how the music business was set up. That's how these things are set up. This is how this business is set up. And this is why I'm just like, you're saying this shit like this is not what we have all been underneath the whole entire time. Like, this is not a new issue or a new problem. Like, what in the actual fuck? Like,
idols become disposable commodities rather than artists with careers meant to last decades. And don't get me started on luxury brand deals. At this point, some idols are more models than musicians. Instead of honing their craft, many idols are funneled into brand endorsements, appearing in fashion shows, and promoting expensive handbags. While there's nothing wrong with making money, it's clear that for some companies, the focus has shifted away from music entirely. The result? Fans are getting fed up. They're tired of being treated like an unlimited money supply, and many are starting to question whether supporting the industry is even worth it anymore. K-pop used to have a strong grip on teenagers and young adults, but those fans are growing up and moving on. Many people who got into K-pop during the second and third generations are now in their late teen or mid-late 20s or even 30s, and their priorities have shifted. Life responsibilities, changing musical tastes, and even disillusionment with the industry are causing many long-time fans to step away from the genre. Unlike Western music industries that evolve with their audience, K-pop remains...
this nigga put a picture of Yaya and said he evolved with his audience. Nigga used Post Malone. And I have my own reservations and thoughts and beliefs about the whole Post Malone situation. But I give credit where credit's due. Boy know how to make a good song. And he is an artist who his audience has had to grow with him, not he's grown with his audience. All the layers of him turning into the different versions of himself that he wanted to become, or XYZ, however it happened, you had to be willing to agree to go on that journey with Post. Post did not agree to go on the journey with you and all your changes through life and everything like that. Like, what in the actual fuck? This nigga put Ye up here. And then Travis Scott has shown no little growth. Like, musically, Travis Scott still sound like Travis Scott from when he first fucking came out. Like, this nigga just be talking, cuz.
Step away from the genre. Unlike Western music industries that evolve with their audience, K-pop remains stuck marketing itself almost exclusively to young teens. Companies continue pushing bubbly, high-energy concepts and heavily manufactured idol personas. ignoring the fact that their original fan base is no longer in that age group. The result? A growing disconnect between older fans and the industry. Even newer fans aren't sticking around as long as they used to. With the rise of short-form content like TikTok, attention spans are shorter than ever, and K-pop's reliance on quick, viral trends is making it feel more disposable. Instead of forming deep, long-term connections with groups, fans jump from one viral moment to the next, leading to shorter fan cycles. Meanwhile, older fans who once felt a strong emotional connection to idols are starting to feel alienated. The industry still expects them to behave like obsessive teenagers, but at a certain point, life moves on. If K-pop companies don't adapt their strategies, offering more mature concepts, meaningful music, and a reason for long-time fans to stay invested, they risk losing an entire generation of loyal supporters who once helped build the genre's global success. There was a time when every new group felt special. Now, there are so many debuts happening every month, it's impossible to keep track. The problem isn't just the number of groups, it's that most of them aren't bringing anything new to the table. Too many groups are being formed not out of passion or artistic vision, but because companies want a piece of the profit pie. Every entertainment agency wants to debut the next big thing, hoping to ride the wave of K-pop's global success. But in reality, only a handful of groups actually break into mainstream success, while the majority struggle to stay afloat. Many disband within a few years due to lack of traction, while others fade into barely making an impact despite the effort and talent involved. This oversaturation is making K-pop feel stale and repetitive. Instead of focusing on developing unique concepts, companies rush out new groups, each one sounding and looking eerily similar to the last. The competition is so fierce that even talented idols get lost in the shuffle. Fans barely have time to form attachments to one group before another dozen debut with similar styles and sounds. And let's talk about quality over quantity. Some of the most legendary K-pop groups took time to develop their artistry. Their concepts were carefully curated, their music evolved, and their performances were distinctive. Now, we're seeing quantity over quality, where new groups are pushed out at a relentless pace with generic concepts, weak discographies, and rushed promotions. The industry needs to slow down and prioritize originality. If K-pop keeps flooding the market with copy-paste groups, fans will eventually lose interest. And if companies don't realize this soon, the genre risks burning out. K-pop is built on perfection. Perfect visuals, perfect bodies, perfect performances. But here's the truth. Perfection isn't real, and the industry's obsession with it is doing serious damage, not just to idols, but to young fans watching from the sidelines. From the moment a trainee enters the system, they are pressured to look a certain way. Many idols undergo plastic surgery before they even debut, with companies subtly, or not so subtly, undergo plastic surgery before they even debut, with companies.
Is that actually a thing, or did they just... Can you get your traps plastic surgery? Is that a thing? I don't feel like that's real. And he used a picture that said Botox everywhere, but then did the thing for the shoulders. Like, what are we doing?
Companies subtly, or not so subtly, encouraging procedures to fit the ideal K-pop look. Double eyelid surgery, V-line jaw contouring, nose jobs. These are not just common, they are expected. Some agencies even include plastic surgery clauses in contracts, forcing idols to undergo procedures as part of their debut preparation. But it doesn't stop at surgery. Extreme dieting is the norm.
I know he's talking about extreme dieting, but that salad look banging though. Just keep it 100.
Idols are put on strict meal plans that barely meet daily calorie needs. Some are told to survive on one meal a day, or even just water and an apple. The pressure to maintain an unrealistic body shape is so intense that some idols collapse from exhaustion, while others openly admit to struggling with eating disorders. The scariest part? This is all normalized. Fans praise idols for their dedication, without realizing the suffering behind the scenes. This culture of perfectionism seeps into the fan base, particularly among young teens. Fans see their favorite idols looking flawless and assume that that's the standard they should meet. They compare their natural faces to idols who have had multiple surgeries and professional styling. They compare their bodies to people who have been starving themselves for years. It creates a cycle of insecurity and self-hate, especially among teenagers who are already vulnerable to body image issues. And let's not forget filters and editing. K-pop idols are often photographed and filmed under perfect lighting with heavy airbrushing to remove even the smallest imperfections. Many fans don't even realize they're looking at altered versions of reality. The skin isn't that flawless, the waist isn't that tiny, the jawline isn't that sharp. It's all part of the illusion that the industry has carefully crafted. South Korea has seen a massive rise in cosmetic procedures among teenagers and young adults. Some fans even save up money for years just to get the same procedure.
Isn't a massive rise in plastic surgery in teenagers directly attributed to poor parenting? Because you're allowing your child to go get plastic surgery before their body is fully matured. Like, that's kind of mental. That's kind of mental. Like, you don't need a nose job at 16 unless you have like an actual like need for a nose job. Like, just as an example, like you don't need double eyelid surgery at 15 because you want to look like your favorite idol. Like, the fuck?
Procedures as their favorite idols. The industry doesn't just promote beauty, it profits from insecurity. The impact? More and more young fans are turning to plastic surgery clinics to achieve the K-pop look. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you love K-pop exactly the way it is. What do you think? Drop a comment below. I want
What I think is a lot of the points you made were quite valid if you just disregard the fact that it is a business. If you want to disregard a business and act like there was like this beautiful nostalgia wave where they weren't doing all of this shit before, then that's cool. But that's like having a conversation from an intellectually dishonest place. And I can't do that. I can't do that. Are there changes that need to happen within this industry and in the Western industry as well for the push for, we'll say, more creativity and originality? Sure, but to do so means I'm risking money, which means that now we have to focus on the business. And what it happens to be, or a lot of these record labels are publicly fucking traded, which means shareholder wants, demands, and payouts are put above creativity, growth, and artistry. So it's a very strange bedfellows we have with how art gets in front of us and who is the art that is made in front of us. But there are better things that we could have, we'll say, be systemic changes within the industry that could make for better profit and for better artistry. But that also requires people to be willing to say no. And that's what my example of the McDonald's thing is you know how fucked up this industry is before you decide to participate in it, unless you are a child actor. And what I mean by a child actor, I mean like 3 to 6 years old. You have no fathom, actually all the way from 3 to about 12. You're not really gonna hear any real horror stories. But 12 and on, when you start signing up for these industry stuff and doing this, you know about people that have been done wrong in the industry. You know that this industry is predatory. And you sign up to McDonald's to make Big Macs, and then you're in McDonald's talking about I make Whoppers, or I should be able to make a goddamn double from fucking In and Out. Like, the math ain't mathing at that point. It's not, and it's never going to math. But that's just me. You guys let me know what you think when this drops. Thank you for joining me. At the end of all of this, I'm still gonna ask you right here, please check out this music video. Leave me a like, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, because we're working really, really hard on getting this one to go somewhere. But yeah, that's it. Thank you. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out here. Peace.